Transposing licks part 2. Moving them across the strings, or moving the licks vertically instead of horizontally. It's a whole different type of animal, only because the relationship between the strings, especially between the second and third string, is different than the relationship between the first and second, or the third and fourth, or the fifth and the sixth. The only difference is the relationship between the third and second string, and I'll give you an example of that. If I was to play, say, an F note here, and play a D note here, you could see the relationship is basically about 2 frets higher, or a fret in between. However, if I was to do those same 2 notes on the F here, instead of playing this note, it's sharp, I would have to play 1 fret back. It's just that one little relationship, as you can see. Now I could play that same F note, say here, but now I'm going from the 3rd string to the 4th string, and it's just like the relationship between the 1st and 2nd. If I was to play another F note here, the relationship between the 4th and 5th string is just like the 1st and 2nd, and just like the 3rd and the 4th. If I was going to do it again, now between the 5th and 6th string, F, again, there's using my 3rd finger. But the only difference is between the 2nd and 3rd string. We use our 2nd finger. That's the only relationship difference here. So let's take a look at this first lick and demonstrate a little bit more. A Lonnie Johnson lick. This is in the key of C, and there's our root note. Now, like we did before, if I was going to transpose that up to an F, I can go right up to here and do the same little pattern. So you see that F and that D note. There's the 2nd string to the 3rd string. If I wanted to do that same lick on the 1st and 2nd string, I would find that F note right there. I would do that same little thing that we did. But now, however, now I'm going to jump over to the next string. First to the 2nd string, I'm going to use my 3rd finger instead. Now notice the difference again between the F here, going between the 2nd and 3rd string. We're using that 1 fret back. Here, using the 2 frets. So that's really the difference between the relationship of the 2nd and 3rd string. Now if we move that lick up that we just did here up to a G, well, we're doing our horizontal move. Here's the same lick against a G. If I was to do that against a C chord, but moving it up horizontally, that's how that would work. Now here's another location for the F note. It's played on the 3rd position with your 1st finger on the 4th string. Now remember, the relationship between the 4th and the 5th is just like our 1st and our 2nd. The shape is exactly the same. If I wanted to do it the same lick, played in the 3rd position, there it is. So you can see how that moved up. And again, if I wanted to play it in G. But again, the relationship between the 1st and the 2nd strings, the same as the 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th. The difference again is between the 2nd and 3rd string. Using my 2nd finger there to play that note. Now here's a lemon lick, okay, played in the 3rd position. Okay, we've done that before. And that Mean Jumper Blues. Now, if I was to play that lick, okay, the same notes moved across to the second and third strings, okay? There's my G note. If I wanted to do another G, there's my G note here. Let's just take a look at that. There's my G note. There's the root. But we're using a G note here just to give you a little bit more of an idea of where we're going to move. We're going to go to the G note here. However, if we want to play that same little lick, okay, we have to, again, look at the relationship between here and here, G and E. Now, if I want to do that same relationship between the second and third string, I have to be here. Now, let's take a look at this lick now. See that first string? Now if we do the same thing here, but we combine it with that note here. There's how the lick would sound. It's still a C chord lick, but we're doing it. If you just look at the shape of your fingers, you can see the relationship changes. So you can see how that lemon lick can be played against the C chord. And that's how we're going to transpose these licks. And we're going to do more transposing in the next video to really get you familiar with this.